Hey, Pre-Algebra students, this is Mr. Giomini. We are still in Chapter 11, and we are getting into the thick of things here, and things become a little bit more complicated, as you'll find out today in class. And I'm only going to really cover the first half of today's lesson, just because I really want to make sure that we understand the first half. Because when we understand the first half, there's no need to go to the second half. So let's just take a look. All I'm going to do here is start with some vocabulary, because there's some new terms here for us. It says you can graph a linear equation, which we've talked about, linear equations. You can graph a linear equation by easily finding the, now here's our new terms, x-intercept and y-intercept. Okay, I think of interception, or intercept, I think of interception. Something coming across and taking the ball away from me. So intercept or intersection you think about where it's crossing over something. So it says the x-intercept of a line is the value of x, so the value of x, where the line crosses the x-axis. So where the line crosses the x-axis and where 0 is going to equal to, or is equal to 0. And then the y-intercept of a line, is the value of y where the line crosses the y-axis and where x is 0. So if I kind of think about this, I write it out. So x-intercept. The x-intercept, I'm going to just abbreviate intercept like that, is equal to where the line crosses the x-axis. And it makes sense that if it crosses the x-axis, then the y value would be equal to 0. And then the y-intercept, or where it intersects the y-axis, so where this line crosses the y-axis, that's where x is going to be equal to 0. Which makes sense again, because if it's the line is crossing over the y-axis, that must mean x is equal to 0. Okay, so let's take a look at an example real quick. So it says find the x-intercept and y-intercept of the line 8x minus 6y equals 24. Use the intercepts to graph the equation. Oh boy, there's like 3 steps here. First, I have to find this intercept, then I have to find the y-intercept, and then I have to graph this. So I have 3 things to do for this one problem. Well, we know that when we're finding the x-intercept, that's when y is equal to 0. So all I'm going to do is substitute in 0 for y. So now my equation will really look like this. 8x minus, now it's not 6 times y, because we're finding x-intercept, we know that y equals 0. So 6 times 0 is equal to 24. Hey, look at this, not too bad. 8x, okay, 6 times 0 equals 0. So we have 8x is equal to 24. I want to evaluate for 1 8, not 8 of them. So we have 8 times something equals 24, so I'll divide both sides by 8, do the inverse. This eliminates. So I have x is equal to 3. Now remember, the x-intercept is when x is, we've just found the x-intercept, so that means x is equal to 3 and y is equal to, remember we're finding the intercepts, y is going to be equal to 0 when we're finding the x-intercept. Now I go over and do the x-intercept. Oh, I'm sorry, the y-intercept, my fault. So now we know the y-intercept. We will start with the same equation, but now the y-intercept is where x is already equal to 0, so we know the value of x. So I can substitute that in to this equation. So now, instead of being 8 times x, we know that x is equal to 0. So if 8 times 0 minus 6 times y is equal to 24, well, obviously this just gives me 0, so I'm left with minus 6y equals 24. And remember, this is minus 6y, which you can really think of as adding the opposite of the 6, which is a negative 6y. So that equals 24. So that's really 6y's. I want to get rid of this, so I'm going to divide by negative 6. And you notice this positive side will keep this variable then positive. So divide by negative 6. So I have 24 divided by negative 6. That gives me negative 4. Now, we know the ordered pair for this, because I have to graph this. The ordered pair for this would be, let's see, whenever we're finding the y-intercept, we already know that x equals 0. And when x equals 0, then its ordered pair or its partner is negative 4. So now I need to graph this. Now I have a very basic coordinate plane here. And remember yesterday how we did this with the capital C, talking about the different quadrants. Starts here with quadrant 1, and then we go to quadrant 2, and then we go to quadrant 3, and then finally the C ends at quadrant 4. Okay, so let me erase that for right now. And remember, quadrant or coordinate starts with the letter C, so coordinate grid, coordinate plane. So I am now going to graph this. So the graph of 8x minus 6y equals 24 is a line that crosses the x-axis at 0.30. So I'm going to the x-axis, going over 3. This is going by ones, 1, 2, 3, and it's 30, so it doesn't move. It just stays on the x-axis. So I just plotted that point. And then we have the y-axis, or the y-axis at the point 0, negative 4. So 0, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to graph this line. I'm going to cheat. If I were you, I'd use a ruler to make sure it's a straight line. Or you can use maybe a business card or something like that. A roar card if you have one of those. So let me just adjust this rule slightly here. Slide it over. And there we are. I have just graphed 8x minus 6y equals 24, and it has gone through the x-intercept at 3, 0, and it has gone through the y-intercept at 0, negative 4. Okay, this will help you out with the first half of tomorrow's lesson, or today's lessons, I should say. I'm making the film on Wednesday, but we'll do it on Thursday. So, and then we'll get into more of the lesson later in the week. Okay, take care. Have a great day. Bye.